So very simply, the whole philosophy has been how to simplify life. It is where Simply HR comes from. And trust me, corporates, and especially HR in corporates, love to complicate things. Because they feel they're doing a great job by complicating life of all employees. And the more they complicate, their bosses are going to be really happy that yes, HR is doing a great job by making lives of people more painful. And we said, no, how do we create delight? HR should be a delight in any company. Now that is where we came from. So while I was driving in here, I thought, okay, my theme is going to be very simple. It's going to be campus to corporate, C2C, right? That's what I thought I'll just dwell upon, because all of you are new into the campus, and after 2 years, all of you are going to be new into the corporate. Some of you could be having experience for sure. How many of you would have already worked in a company? So good kind of 25 to 30% have already seen a corporate. So I must ask some of you as to how anyone wants to share your 2 years in a corporate? Anybody wants to get up and just share quickly? I'm going to keep this very interactive. Anybody wants to volunteer and talk about your 2 years in corporate? Anyone? It was so horrible that you are back into school, right? No, it can be. At times it can be such a terrible experience. You feel, my God, campus was so good, man. Can I go back? And then so you're back to school again, and you feel all that engineering that I did, no use. I was thrown on the shop floor, and I was made to slog in the heat, while the manager sat in the AC cabin and just kept passing instructions. So if I have to become a manager, I should do a management course, right? So that I straight away land into the AC cubicle, and life becomes rosy. And very interesting. So my nephew passes his engineering course in computer, and he gets 2 offers in the campus. One is from an advertising company, interesting. So an advertising company going to an engineering college, meeting IT students. Look at the whole shift, right? And of course, there was a IT company, and he got completely lost. And he called me up, being a HR person, having seen corporate life and all. So he said, Chacha, I'm lost. So please help me. So I said, what do you want from life? Tell me. You've done 4 years of your engineering. Where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself sitting on a machine, working 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, just looking at a screen, coding, programming, developing, etc., etc.? Or do you see yourself creating something, mingling with people, some new stuff that you're developing? So do you see yourself in that? Do you really enjoy being in a place which is not very structured? I confused him more, right? But I think somewhere over the dinner table, he got a little answer in his mind that, okay, I think I belong to the latter one. I'm not the guy who's going to sit in front of the machine all 9 hours and do just coding all life. So he picks up the advertising company. Now his plan was that after 2 years of my graduate engineering, I'm going to come back and do MBA. Today, after 8, 9 months, if I go and ask him, do you want to do management? I think he'll be terribly confused again. And somewhere, of course, he has fallen in love with this whole advertising world and feels that that's where he belongs now. So at times it happens that once we are in campus, I could be actually studying something through the 2 years, spend X number of hours going through books, but my heart could be lying somewhere else, right? It's about, so I was in Ranchi this weekend, and we kind of childhood friends, all of us who grew up in Ranchi, so we were having a Ranchi reunion. So 10 of us landed up in Ranchi, and we had a lovely time over the weekend. And again, interesting case study. One of the friends, his son has done, again, IT, computer engineering course, 4 years of that. And he has joined a company in Gurgaon here, and family belongs to Ranchi. So we are at lunch on Saturday, and lovely rain outside. Ranchi has beautiful weather, unlike Delhi. So, and we are having great lunch, and we suddenly happened to talk about our children. And so this friend, he said, okay, my son has done 4 years of course, etc., etc. So somebody one of the person in the group said, look, you must check out his son's other interests. I said, okay, what are the other interests? So he flashed out his phone and he started showing pictures. Pictures, in a sense, I would call it sketches. Trust me, those sketches were handmade and so brilliant. I mean, you could make out as if they are made by a machine. It was phenomenal. And I told him, so what is he doing in Gurgaon? Make me understand. And why is he in an IT company? Why are you killing him? Yes, he said, so I have no awareness here. Tell me, help me. Where should he go? I said, no, look for a design institute. Take a break. Get him to do 1 year of corporate, but get him out of that place because he doesn't belong there. He's a design guy. Look at what magic does he do with a pencil. And he's a pencil sketch guy. Everything was black and white. And it was brilliant. I wish I had taken a photograph of one of the sketches and had shown it here. The point I'm bringing home to all of you is there is something in all of us that is very unique to all of us. It's about time for all of you to really identify that and become very passionate around that. So I have a 12-year-old son. Till 8 months back, no clue about rock music. Right? A friend of mine, again from Ranchi, great guitarist, his son is in Delhi giving guitar tuitions. And I happened to meet him. He said, would you like to come and give tuition to my son also? He said, uncle, I'm thrilled. I'll absolutely come home and teach him. I think 10 months down the line, I'm unable to recognize my son because his room, the kind of things he's studying on his tab is all music. Now, am I thrilled about it? Absolutely, I'm thrilled about it as a parent. Would I want him to become a rock star? Absolutely, I want to become I want him to become a rock star. But he better become the best rock star then, right? If it means getting him the best guitar, we will get him the best guitar. But then he needs to be passionate about the whole thing. That's very important. So when I'm talking campus to corporate, please keep in mind that you need to identify that one thing that your heart lies in, that one thing that you will be really passionate about. Otherwise, trust me, it will become a 9 to 5 job. You'll keep changing jobs. You'll keep getting frustrated. There is no great company out there. Okay, there's no great job out there. There will be an X salary in a job, a Y salary in a job, a Z salary in a job. That's about it. But what's going to excite you is the passion that you carry. So which means when I did my HR course way back in 87, I completed in 87, it was very clear. I mean, I could see glimpses of myself of being very passionate about people. That was the passion I had. I loved meeting people. I loved interacting with them. I was in the cricket team in school. I was either the vice captain or the captain. A lot of sport activities I was very, very engaged in deeply. Very outgoing. Love to party. All that. Music, movies, name it. I think somewhere you start identify yourself, where do you belong? And that has to happen now in this campus, in these 2 years. Otherwise, you're also free. Look, at end of the day, I'm sure 50% of you will get into a regular job and you will just become a 9 to 5 person and be very happy doing normal job, right? But if you want to stand out, you have to go beyond a normal job. You want to grow up in a corporate ladder, you've got to go beyond the routine. You have to do things differently. Right? So it's very important to identify that. And I'm sure all of you have. I mean, so even if it means that I do these 2 years of management course, and if it means that I need to pursue my interest, and if it means to study again for another 2 years of that particular interest, so be it. But follow the passion. My whole mantra has been that unless you are passionate about something, it's about leading a very ordinary life. And it's about wasting your life, if I may use the word. If there has to be excitement in life, let passion rule your heart. And that's where, when the idea of, we worked till 2011 or so, and we decided at a point that, okay, what is it that we want now in our next job? And then there are 4 of us partners who were all working together in our last company, which is Network 18. And we decided, okay, we need to do something more than what we have done so far. So regular jobs happened till 20 years, 22 years. My other partners, they did for 15 years. And we all decided, look, let's look for a larger purpose in life. And the larger purpose in life was very interesting. We said, okay, the small and medium-sized companies in this country need a lot of help on HR. Any businessman starting his company has 2-3 things very clearly fixed up very soon. Whether it's the technology, whether it's the finances, whether it's the product, they get it all right. Where the struggle happens typically is people. So A, because it's a small company, HR guys don't want to join them because they don't see a career. B, because it's a small size company, HR is never seen as a full-time job. All the owners will keep staring at you that, okay, I've hired this guy, but what the hell is he doing through the day? I'm unable to understand. And for a HR guy to justify full-time work is, trust me, humongous. I mean, it's very difficult. Very difficult. So we had a very interesting benchmark. Trust me, Simply HR is benchmarked against which industry? Any guesses? I want to hear this. Which industry have we benchmarked ourselves to form a company? Anyone? Take a wild guess. No, in any industry. Which industry? Is it FMCG industry? It is technology, IT, retail. Yeah, sorry? FMCG, telecom, consulting. You're missing the point. What happened around 10 years back in this country? Captain Gopinath changed the rules of flying in this country. And there's a very famous book of his called Simply Flying. Right? So our benchmark was very clear that there is a way of doing things in a leaner, in a smarter, in a simpler way. Any industry can do that. And we thought, okay, that's the name we have. So if it is Simply Fly for the aviation industry, let's do Simply HR for the SMEs. That the SMEs actually don't need a full-time HR, they just need somebody visiting them once in a while and managing the HR for them. Right? So broadly, that is where, I thought I'll just share my very interesting insights. I won't take too much of time. I want a lot of questions to come from you. 2-3 things as a takeaway from this is of what I have spoken about. And I think 3 things that really matter when you go for your first interview in a corporate. Some of you have been through those interviews. KSA, remember that for life. Anybody wants to take that? KSA. Knowledge, skill and attitude. Very simple. Keep that in your zehen for life. If you have done your studies well, if you have jotted down your notes well, if you remember what was taught in the class, your knowledge will always remain with you for a life. Skill is something that over a period gets developed and the company is going to help you. But bring that positiveness in yourself that, okay, I want to learn more, that I'm not skilled completely. And can I keep that little room of improvement for myself? That's the skill part. And above all is the third piece, which is attitude. Very important. And what kind of attitude would corporates typically look at? Positive. What else? Any other attitude that you would like to define? Sorry? Proactive. Yeah, good. Confident, not overconfident, right? Huh? Innovative, absolutely. Go-getter. Some of you are getting into a sales marketing situation in next year when you take up your major. Please look within yourself, am I cut out for sales and marketing or not? Or just because somebody said, oh, do sales and marketing, yeah, you'll land up a job. And I'm not cut out for that. But just because somebody told me, I have taken up the course. Not right. So KSA is one thing that I want to leave with all of you. Number two, on job changes. Very interesting question I keep getting asked. That should we stick to one company or is it bad to keep job hopping? Right? How bad it is of hopping jobs. My own experience, barring couple of companies where I would have done year and a half, rest of them was close to 4 years plus. And I keep telling students that, you get one life. Please explore as much as you can. Not that I hate people who stay with a company for a long time, but I say spend 5 years, but do take a break. Wherever you might be on money, on designation, on whatever. But take a break, go to another company, experience that technology, experience that product. You have only, so in a lifespan of say 30 years of work, if I'm able to work in 6 companies, I'll come out as a very, very richer person. And compared to that, if I spend that 30 years in just one company, yes, I'll become probably a hardcore expert in that company or in that industry. But what it takes away is the variety that I could have probably enjoyed if I would have moved on. And there is this constant struggle that every individual goes through after X number of years. Am I at the right place? Should I be thinking something else? Why is this company becoming boring? Why is this job becoming boring? Why is my boss so painful? And should I move now? So keep a timeline. Now, so that means that hopping jobs in 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, is it bad? Yes, it is bad. Unless you're so pained by your boss, number one, right? Number two, your job. And number three, the organization that it's going nowhere and I need to change, I better get off from this place. So there could be a situation like this where your boss is such a maniac, he drives you out of the organization in just 1 year time. So blame it on him. So, okay, my hopping happened purely because of that gentleman there. Right? So that's one. Number three, apart from KSA, the hopping, number three on the location. A lot of people I find today, oh, I've got a house in Gurgaon and, I'm looking for something in Delhi NCR. Killing yourself. Please explore India. Go beyond India. Enjoy. Don't put anchors too early in your life. Put anchors after, say, 10 years, 15 years. Then identify, yes, a town or a city and just park yourself there. But be mobile. Any interview that you go, if you are very, very restrictive or limited to a XYZ place, you're restricting your career. Doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Personal example, started in Chennai, the first company as a training period for 3 months. Came into Delhi, went to Bombay, went to Renukut. From Bombay to Renukut. I don't know how many of you have heard a place called Renukut. Okay? So that's in UP, MP, Bihar border. And it has the biggest aluminium company, Hindalco. Right? So I had the privilege of staying there for 2 years and doing some great work there. And from Renukut to Indore and from Indore back to Delhi. So that's the little. But the fun was that you're always exploring a new place and making new friends everywhere that you went. So again, don't make location as a limiting factor. Very important when you get into the corporate. Okay? Salary, the biggest point, the last point. What is a good salary? Trust me, nobody can give a definition on that. Nobody. And I was visiting XISS and so this was again one of my usual Ranchi trips, and the institute said, no, Rajneesh, why don't you come and spend an hour with, some students who've been unplaced and they're very demotivated and, a lot of depression setting in that, we are not going to get jobs. And then as the luck would have it, father in his email had also mentioned that, X companies were offered some Y or Z salaries. And the kids were not keen to take up those jobs. On reading that, I was mighty pissed. I said, and trust me, I can't share that number of that salary. But for me, as a startup salary, it was a very decent salary. But for people to have attitude of not even sitting for those interviews just because the money was XYZ, I thought, man, this attitude is going to take you guys nowhere. Nowhere. So money has to be respected. You can't abuse money. That is very important. In life, there will be situations where you will need to take a dip in salary. Does that mean end of the earth? No, it doesn't mean end of the earth. You will bounce back again. Got a lifetime. I have been through one plant shutdown, so the next job I had to take with a cut. Because I was in an absolute situation that, okay, the plant shut down, I have no job now. And the future employer knew that I don't have an option because he's without a job now. Second opportunity, Procter & Gamble acquires Gillette. So I'm in Gillette and my job goes again. Right? Again a situation of taking a salary cut. But when I signed off from corporate, honestly, I signed off at a very, very happy level as far as the compensation was concerned. Because you don't operate that way. It could be X, Y, Z, thousands or a lakh or what have you. And interestingly, I mean, I should share this example. One profile or one CV that we got in Simply HR, this kid is 2 years passed out of IIM Ahmedabad, sitting at around 18, 19 lakhs, right? That means he got a fancy offer in the campus. In 2 years' time, he's in the market looking for a job. And tell me how many companies are going to offer him that much of money? Impossible. Unless he really lands up in a very fancy organization where again the compensation levels are very high. But those are far and few. And I'm sure that kid would have now, I'm sure, taken almost a 50% cut to really come to what the normal market is. Right? So always remember that. And always love your first offer. I mean, when you get the first offer, frame it, keep it for your lifetime. I mean, the first offer letter is a dream document. That's the moment when you're becoming financially independent. You should cherish that for life. My first letter is in a very kind of almost the pages are getting into a yellow kind of a thing, antique and whatever. But it's still there. And it was a $2,000 a month job. And this is like 87, 88. But pretty happy with that, man. Those days, $2,000 was like, we used to have a party every weekend. Very thrilled. We would do a budgeting, do a $500 to a weekend. And that is it. 4 weekends taken care of. Always keep that in mind that yes, whatever money comes, be disciplined in managing that money. That is the other thing I would leave when we are talking compensation. Very easy to blow away the money over the first weekend itself. But can I be mindful? Can I be sensitive? Can I just take care of that money is what one would leave as a parting thought. Thank you very much. Would love to have questions from you. And I want to keep this very interactive. So whatever you have heard, any questions you have, please feel free to ask. Yeah. Yes, please. Sorry. Say that again louder. Yes. Absolutely. Okay. So the question is, how do we make a near perfect exit from a company, right? No, I mean, yeah, so good question to a HR guy who's been managing so many exits and what have you. No, so it's important. And while I was driving here, so one of my ex-colleagues from Network 18, she called up and pretty well known on CNBC TV 18 and now with Bloomberg. And she was exactly asking this, that I have done now 10 years of television and how do I move out and what are the options, etc., etc. And then the discussion was around this only as to how do you don't rock the boat while you're exiting, right? As an employer, the first thing that will be expected is, are you leaving in a rush or are you giving us time? Very simple. As HR guys, when we are called in by the line managers, okay, we have done our talking, the guy is not agreeing, etc., is when the HR guys are called in. Why don't you have the talk? Is when we make the employee understand that, look, if you're going to burn the bridge, world is a very small place. Who knows, your manager is going to again meet you in some other company and he's going to remember that whole situation, right? My mantra to every employee who has left a company has been that, please, for heaven's sake, don't burn your bridges. Give ample notice period. Do proper handover, right? Ensure your full and final is completely cleared up. Nothing pending against the company, nothing pending from the company. Leave in peace from any company. Trust me, you might have had the most horrible experience in a company. But exit has to be a near perfect. Go out with a smile. Boss, these guys messed up. I had sleepless nights here. But the last day, have a great day, enjoy yourself, meet everybody, thank everybody, and leave on a good note. Very important to do that. Yeah, somebody's from this side. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely. Hmm. 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 So look, like I said, I can't comment on the person who was changing industry so frequently, and I mean, that is amazing that he was moving from a IT to a marketing and what have you. For me personally, it was very clear, like I said, if there is a passion, it runs very deep inside you, right? It's not something that is very frivolous or it's not something very kind of hollow. Uh, so very important to keep in mind that what I'm doing right now, is it for the long run or is it for a short term, right? I think one has to pick up something which is more for the long run. I mean, that is where the whole beauty lies. I can't be just doing something today again. So I'll be seen as a person who is not clear in his mind as to where this person wants to go, right? Reading books depends area to area. I mean, whichever area I pick up, can I go deeper into it? That is very important. So next year, if you pick up a finance, for instance, now I should become a finance guy who should have a complete control of the knowledge across the whole domain. So that's very important. If you think you are cut out for finance, if you think, I struggle with finance, but I've chosen finance because three other guys have chosen it, wrong way. Yeah. Explore companies. I'm saying don't change the job as such. I'm saying not to, like, say for instance, Rajneesh, if he changed 5 jobs, did he move away from HR? No, he did not move away from HR. But I changed companies. That's what I'm saying. Not the job as such. That, for instance, I studied IT, I went it and started doing some selling soaps and all suddenly. I got fed up of selling soap. Suddenly I came and started doing some advertising thing. You're getting lost somewhere. But for a person like me, probably it has been HR all the way through. I mean, just because I loved people, I had passion for people, I enjoyed what I did. God gave me too much of patience. I can listen to somebody for hours crying. So when in those plant shutdowns and the Gillette takeover, so many people breaking down and whatever, you need to be solid, strong, emotionally. Now, is that something that you build or you're born with? Somewhere you also work on it. That how do I keep myself emotionally strong to handle such tough situations? Sorry. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good.
Sir, I have heard that the scope for promotion for HR professional in a company is very limited. Is it true? And
Okay.
we hardly see MDs and all in from HR background and also.
No, I think there are a lot of people, well, in public sectors as well as in private. I have seen who have gone on to become CEOs, but yes, few. I'll definitely give in that. Uh, from a promotion standpoint, honestly, very tough one. I mean, again, it depends on the capability of the person. How good is the guy, right? So, does the thing, do you hit the ceiling very fast? If you are talented, no, that will happen. Yes, I have grown in this company. What next now? Right. So I have seen HR people grow at a pretty decent pace. Depends purely on what kind of a professional you are, how capable you are, what kind of work you have done in the company. I've seen people grow. Interesting question. So when I'm hiring, I'll definitely have a bit of a question mark on my mind if this person has stayed at a X level for 10 years. At a level for 10 years is a big question mark as to why it happened, right? And it can't be just that somebody hated his face. It would be more about the kind of work he would have done in that company, right? Now, at the same time, the other example you're giving, will I prefer somebody who's got a 2 year experience? Again, a tricky question. If I see his track record of jumping every 2 years, I'll be again very wary. I will take it easy. I mean, I won't rush into that candidate as well. He could be a star performer. But if he's a hopper, he's not my man. I'm not going to hire him. I'm not going to spend money on him. I want somebody who's fairly stable, who will at least, if I'm going to, as an organization, invest in him, at least he should contribute back to the organization in equal measure. And then might as well part. That's okay. But you just can't come 2 years, you just sit around, manage, don't contribute, you take hefty salary and you just pack up. Not fair. On the other hand, the other gentleman, 10 years in the company, just there. Now, it's again, speaks about the company's ethos also. Why are we carrying somebody for 10 years at the same level? What is the example are we setting? That, you could just park yourself in a corner, nobody's going to touch you. Just because you happen to be here for 10 years. Not done. So we've taken very hard calls on people. Some of the clients that we work right now, we do tell them. And some of the owners actually struggle with this. That वो बंदा मेरे साथ मैं जब इस लेवल पे था मेरे साथ वो काम करने आया 25 साल हो गए मेरे ही साथ है I said sir अब so where is he now? Well, I am struggling with him because he has now become useless for me. But I have, there is a relationship. I said, chief, relationship won't lead your organization anywhere. No? You need contribution. Somebody needs to contribute. Goodness, you can't exploit goodness to that extent. So the benefit of doubt in this situation has to be given to the organization. That is the organization suffering with these long-serving employees who are stuck at a level? Doesn't. I mean, we would like to definitely move out people. Give them a VRS, tell them, look, great innings, enjoyed, but here's the VRS and thank you very much. We'll keep in touch. That's it. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I would say work smart, very clearly. And that's our dictum in Simply HR that, and we had our first annual offsite. The team stepped out for a night out at Nimrana Fort, and we somehow had the money to kind of take the team out. So 18 of us. And the presentation I made was exactly on this as to how do smart organizations work, right? And that was the concept that as Simply HR, we also want to make an organization which is definitely high performing, but it has to be smart performing. That's very important. Which means that how can I do more in less? That's smart, right? Hard is you do more in more. Like you said, I'm carrying work home. Why should you do that? You know, if I am, trust me, if 8 hours is what we get at work, right? And we have seen, you touch your heart and ask people, employees in the company, okay, out of 8 hours, how much of focused work have you done in those 8 hours? Not more than 3 hours. 5 घंटा क्या किया? Oh, we checked out this, we checked out that, we caught up people at the water break, we then took some calls. Nothing productive. But if you do 8 hours of solid work, be smart around it. I have never taken work home, never. But yes, now that I'm running a business, it means I need to answer to certain emails. I'll open at 10. So I've got a slot between 10 to 12 when my child goes to sleep. So I work from 10 to 12 and 12 is when I wind up. I said nothing else, nothing more than that. Because you're running a company and so you feel that there's a huge onus on you that everybody in the company is looking up to you. Now that's a different situation. Am I working hard? I would still say I'm working smart because during the day you manage XYZ number of clients and you don't have time, but yet in the night you take out 2 hours to just, you know, if I land home at 7 and I again open my laptop is crime. But if I give time to my family and I open at 10 o'clock, it's silence at home. It's fine. Not a problem. And make the use of, in the smart work, make use of your phone. Buy a smartphone, trust me, your life is going to change. You'll start hating laptops and computers and whatever. It's the best mode that all of you are blessed with. We acquired it after some time, but all of you are already born with it. So trust me, most of my work happens on my phone. I mean, I can go across whole week not opening my laptop. I'm constantly on my phone. I've got WhatsApp group of startup companies that I'm helping. The moment we step out of a company and this happened just last week. So I told them, okay, so we're ready to go, ready to go. Okay, so here is a WhatsApp invite. So these are two brothers who are starting a company and two of our colleagues. We just made a company's name thing and we said, okay, the WhatsApp starts now. And there's work happening on WhatsApp. That's the future. It's so exciting. Trust me, I love it. That's being smart. Right? That's important. I mean that's a powerful tool that all of us have got. Make solid